First thing that'll happen is because neck is such a small thing and it gets burnt, and once the spine is burnt, the burning head will roll away, do. So I am the one who picks it up with a stick and puts it back and waits, where is the damn ghost? It doesn't come. In the five corners of this, he kept one egg. He did all kinds of things and poof, he clapped his hand, pop. All the 5 eggs burst right in front of my eyes. I looked at the fruit fell.
Only clothes that person occasionally wore, such things are given only to your blood relative, nobody else. And that also, first 1 year you should not wear it. Give it a certain kind of opportunity, these clothes will start behaving funny. If the living get involved with the dead, they will lose their life in so many ways. All this spooky thing is sort of intriguing, but it can just consume your life in so many different ways.
Sadhguru, you were talking about stories. So we were conversing and we were agreeing that when we were growing up, some of the best stories that we used to hear from family people or grandparents or friends, senior people, would be the ghost stories. And somehow you small, kids, we love to get scared. Still they want to hear that ghost story. It's one of their favorite things, amongst all stories. Do you have any ghost story from your experiences of traveling in the mountains?
Wow this is really getting him into trouble See, the purpose of telling you ghost stories was not to scare you, but to give you a hair-raising experience. This happened in a barber shop in Louisiana state. The whole place was filled with all kinds of horror comics and ghost stories and all kinds of things, only that. No newspapers, no other magazines, only these things. So one day somebody asked the barber, said, "Why have you put your whole place with this kind of stories in your saloon? You don't have anything else, nothing about styles, about fashion, nothing, only ghost stories and horror stories, why?" He said, "See, for my profession, if somebody's hair is standing, it makes it much easier." So the idea was to give you a hair-raising experience not to scare you And I must tell you, this fascinated me so much that there was a man in Mysore city who was also working in the Mysore City Corporation as some official, but he was known to be some kind of a ghost buster or tantric or whatever he is. So somebody told me, I was always looking for these kind of things, so somebody told me, this guy has trapped ghosts in bottles and kept it in his whatever, it's a shrine or a workshop or whatever you want to call it. So I want to go and that guy wouldn't allow us initially, but I was persistent and then he took me inside and he showed me lots of bottles. He said, in this there is this kind of a ghost, this is a woman, this is a man. I looked, I could not see a man or a woman, I all saw transparent bottles with corks. So I was just befriending him thinking, I will steal one bottle because I really wanted to see a ghost. Because I had heard so many things means unbelievable kind of stories. Well, it only made me more and more curious. It did not raise my hair nor scare me, but I became more and more curious. I had spent months on end, continuously every night, being in the cremation grounds, wanting to see. So people come, burn the dead, and when with firewood, when the dead bodies burn, it burns for 4, 5, 6 hours. People stay there for an hour or hour and a half and then they have other business to do. They will cry and they'll weep and they will go when it's still burning. Normally what happens is, when as the fire burns, one thing, because there's always economic aspect to everything. If they've not put enough fire long enough, when this collapses, the outer part, first thing that'll happen is, because neck is such a small thing and it gets burnt, and once the spine is burnt, the burning head will roll away, do. So I am the one who picks it up with a stick and puts it back and waits, where is the damn ghost? It doesn't come. Many months on end, I sat there, no ghost came. Somebody said, you put a nail in that tamarind tree, it will come. I would nail the damn tree again and again and again, nothing came. Somebody said, in this house there is a ghost. So I would beg them, please allow me, I want to sleep in that house and see if the ghost comes. Did not happen. So I went to this guy, and when they said specifically it's in the bottle, I wanted to steal a bottle. But he was very protective about his bottles so I didn't see anything coming out, but he showed me one thing. He made an elaborate design with rice flour. In the 5 corners of this, he kept one egg. He did all kinds of things and poof, he clapped his hand, pop! All the 5 eggs burst right in front of my eyes. So, I thought, something. I don't know whether it's a ghost or it's a thing, whatever, but definitely he did not reach out to these 5, he was standing away and all the 5 eggs burst. Then this was working on me, and I was walking in my house backyard, looking here and there. Then I saw guavas were hanging in the tree, the guava fruit. I looked at the fruit fell. I thought, what? I did it again and again, the fruit fell. Then I brought my friends and just, you idiots, watch this. Fruit fell. They said, what? Not once, 5, 10 times I did so that it's not an accident. But then, in about 3 days' time after I did this, a revulsion, I've never experienced it ever in my life because I've never stepped into those areas. A kind of revulsion went through my entire body that I knew that I had done something very fundamentally wrong. Never again. I said, you want the guavas? Go up and get it. You want anything in your life, go and get it. These kind of things we will never again do. So, I realized something is fundamentally wrong, use your energies like that. So what is a ghost? All of you are ghosts with a body. Those who are walking and sitting, everybody, you are ghosts with a body. But suddenly somebody lost their body and you think they are something horrible. Why? They're just like you, they just lost the body. Is it true that you gathered the body over a period of time? Suppose, let's say you had lost control over how much you eat and you became this big, and then you came to yoga program and whatever, and slowly you shrank into half your size. Does it mean to say half of you has become a ghost? Hello? So if somebody lost the body, 50, 60 kilograms of planet that we have picked up and made into this, if they put it back, is that a ghost? Then you are also a ghost with a body, isn't it? So this abnormal way of looking at life, that just because somebody lost their body, they've become something evil, something fearful, something terrible, is a very abnormal way of looking at life. The nature of life is such that whether… See, right now, there's something you must look at this, not intellectually, really experientially. You're breathing, all of you, are you? Hello? I'm just checking. Hello? You're breathing. So if you're breathing, let us say this was like a building or whatever, right now we are in the quadrangle kind of place. So there is life here that you're breathing. You may call it air, but it's actually life, because if I take away this will go. Yes? Your life will go. It's only in this transaction, life is happening, isn't it? So it's not just about air, oxygen, this, that. This is a living cosmos. You are like a little bubble, you captured a little bit of life. You know, did you blow soap bubbles when you were young at least? So when you blew your soap bubble, you got this big bubble, I got that big bubble, let us say. We were looking at this, oh, this is my bubble, this is your bubble. Then they went poop. When they go poop, you don't say, this is my air, this is your air, isn't it? This is just like that. This is just a bubble. You captured a certain amount of life and it's functioning in a certain way. When this bubble bursts, there's no such thing as your life and my life. Well, you may not break the entire bubble, you may break the outer surface of the bubble and the inner surface of the bubble may still remain. Just because the outer peel has dropped off, do you call that a ghost? Then you are a ghost with a body.
What you should do is, you stop relating to the dead. One thing that you need to understand is, someone is your grandmother, your mother, your father, whoever they are to you. Whatever they might have been to you, however dear they might have been to you, however close and intimate they might have been to you. The moment they shed their body, their general sense of mind, intellect and emotion, your business with them is finished. They left all those things here, right? Yes? All those things they left here. All the things that you knew about them is finished. Some other sap is still on, but you never had any relationship with that sap. Your relationship is with the other aspects. All those aspects were shed when that person died. So, the only thing that you do when somebody dies is you cherish the beautiful moments that you had with them, that's all. If there was something beautiful, you cherish that, otherwise just forget about them. Don't try to work your guilt and your problems through the dead. It can just become very complicated. It can become very, very complicated. Leave the dead to the dead. No, somebody said this long time ago. You must leave the dead to the dead. You have no business with them. Unless you're in a certain level of mastery of your own whatever, you shouldn't even look in that direction, because you could just completely run around in your life by trying to do something silly. So there may be tendencies which may make people do certain things, but it doesn't mean anything. It just doesn't mean anything. Someone who doesn't have a body doesn't have any business with food or clothes or anything, isn't it? Yes. Only if you have a body, you must go towards food and clothes. Once you lost your body, what business do you have with food and clothes? It is when so much emotion is mixed up, there are so many things which will happen within you and outside of you. There's no need to you're going there, just what is the work to do it, do your sadhana. Be with the man who's still alive, stop trying to be with the dead. Just be with your grandfather who is still alive, do your best for him, because he will also die. I'm not wishing him dead, he'll also die, isn't it? So when you're with him for a short while, just do your best. See how to enrich your life and his life for those few moments that you're there, rather than doing all kinds of fanciful things with your grandmother. Your grandmother's business is over. She has no business to come and look in a cupboard. It is just that there is a certain residual element in clothes that people have owned. See, all these things were taken care of in India. People understood these things as a normal procedure, not realized beings, normal people. It is so much built into the culture. If a person dies, all the clothes which were in touch with that person's body and too much in touch with that person's body, those kind of clothes are all burnt. They're never kept. Only clothes that that person occasionally wore, such things are given only to your blood relative, nobody else. To your daughter or a granddaughter or a son or somebody like this. And that also, first 1 year you should not wear it. Till the first anniversary of the death anniversary happens, you should not wear those clothes. Why these things are is, whatever when we are here, whatever we are in touch with, a certain amount of this energy is there in it. If you give it a certain kind of opportunity, these clothes will start behaving funny. Your grandmother need not come. These clothes themselves will start acting funny because, see, there is something called a static, you're experiencing this. You touch your car door, it just goes chuck. Why is this? The car is not generating electricity, isn't it? Why is this happening? Just in association with something, it gets little charged. Similarly, whatever is in close association with your body, it will get a certain amount of that quality. Do you know how occult is done? We want to cause harm to you. You know what they do? The first thing that they do is, they will take your underwear or hair. If they can get a body part, yes, your hair or nails if they get, that is very good, that's part of your body. If they can't get it, the first thing they will do is some clothing which is in contact with your body. First thing is, your underwears will be missing. Really, people take enormous care in India. They will always ensure that underwear is never put outside, because if one underwear goes, they will investigate in a big way what happened, because they don't want somebody, some unfriendly person who is some enmity to you to take that. Especially unwashed clothes, with lots of care it is handled in our homes. These days it's all going away because we're just giving away to the dhobi or, the washerman who takes it and all. Otherwise, traditionally in our homes, it is so taken care of. It is all put in a closed basket. Somebody who knows inside the house it must be washed, it should never be taken out. Because if they can take a body part, like hair or this thing, then that's different. But just this clothing itself, they can do things to you because it carries a certain amount of your thing. So even when a person dies, the same is true, and that can crackle up a little bit. If a certain kind of energy is on, that aspect can crackle up. There have been instances, I don't know if I should go into this. You're interested in spooky stories. There have been instances where, somebody dies and, like she's saying right now, actually things moving around, especially things that they intimately used, those things just moving around here and there by themselves. In the immediate few days after the person is dead, that person is not coming and moving anything. It is just that whatever your energy that was associated with that is sort of withdrawing. In the process of withdrawal, there'll be a little bit of extra moment. See, now your engine is on in the car, standing there without any too much vibration. When you switch it off, when it's just dying down, do you see little extra shake in the car? Have you noticed it? These days cars are built in such a way that you don't notice it much, but the older engines you see, when you switch it off, it'll go. It's stopping. Actually it should recede, but that's not how it is. From one mode to another mode, when it shifts, there will be a little extra reverberation. Similarly, your engine is going off. Now there'll be little extra shake all over the place. That extra shake is mistaken to be ghosts walking all over the place. No, it is not about any ghost walking. It is just a certain withdrawal of energy that some things may happen, not necessarily every time. A lot of things are imagined by people, but it can happen. It does happen. So, for all these things, to ensure that those things are cleaned up, if a person dies today, after 3 days, we will do one kind of procedure. On the 11th day, we'll do another kind of procedure. On the 13th day, we'll do another kind of procedure. At the 40th day, we'll do another kind of procedure. All this is to ensure that no residue of that person remains, so that dead can be packed and sent, living can continue their life. If the living get involved with the dead, they will lose their life in so many ways. All this spooky thing is sort of intriguing, but it can just consume your life in so many different ways, in many ways, in ways that you will not understand right now, and in ways that need not be very pleasant. It can consume your life completely, your involvement with the dead. This does not mean there is somebody sitting there who's trying to suck your life out. No, just involvement with the dead can just do that. Unless you're sufficiently established and in a certain level of capability, you should not look in that direction. It's not necessary.
Here are few individuals who claim to see ghosts. Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of United States, was known for his pragmatic approach to life. However, he also had a deep interest in the supernatural. Lincoln's encounters with ghosts are often tied to the White House, where he and his family lived during his presidency. Reports of paranormal activity in the White House date back to Lincoln's time and include sightings of Lincoln himself. One of the most famous accounts is Lincoln's sightings of the ghost of his son, Willie, who died of typhoid fever in the White House in 1862 at the age of 11. Lincoln is said to have been deeply affected by Willie's death, and there are numerous reports of him visiting the room where Willie's body lay and grieving deeply. It's claimed that Lincoln saw Willie's ghost on several occasions and even spoke to him. Additionally, Mary Todd Lincoln, Abraham's wife, was known to hold seances in the White House in an attempt to communicate with their deceased son and other spirits. Some reports suggest that Mary Todd Lincoln had her own encounters with ghosts in the White House. Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers was a trailblazing comedian known for her sharp wit and fearless humor. While she was primarily known for her work in comedy, Rivers also had an interest in the supernatural and claimed to have had several encounters with ghosts. One of the Rivers' most famous encounters was with the ghost of Lucille Ball, her close friend and mentor. After Ball's death in 1989, Rivers claimed to have felt Ball's presence and even seen her ghost. Rivers spoke openly about these experiences in interviews, describing them as comforting and affirming her belief in an afterlife. Rivers' openness about her experiences with the paranormal added another dimension to her public persona and showcased her willingness to explore unconventional topics in her comedy and personal life. Oliver Cromwell. Oliver Cromwell was a controversial figure in British history, known for his role in the English Civil War and his subsequent leadership as Lord Protector of England, Scotland, and Ireland. After his death in 1658, rumors began to circulate about his ghost haunting various locations associated with his life and death. One of the most famous sightings of Cromwell's ghost is at the Tower of London, where he is said to appear on the anniversary of his execution. According to legend, Cromwell's ghost walks the grounds of the tower, carrying his several head under his arm. His appearances are often accompanied by a sense of foreboding and unease among witnesses. Cromwell's ghost has become a fixture of British folklore, with numerous reported sightings and stories passed down through the centuries. Mabel Normand. Mabel Normand was a pioneering actress and comedian in the early days of cinema and Roscoe Arbuckle. After her death in 1930, reports began to emerge of her ghost haunting the Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles, where she is buried. Witnesses claim to have seen Normand's ghost wandering the cemetery grounds, often near her gravesite. Some have reported hearing laughter or seeing flickering lights in the vicinity, leading them to believe that Normand's spirit remains restless or seeks to entertain even in death. Normand's alleged haunting adds an intriguing layer to her legacy as a trailblazer in early Hollywood and highlights with enduring fascination with celebrity ghosts and the paranormal. Harry Price. Harry Price was a prominent British physical researcher and author who dedicated much of his life to investigating paranormal phenomena. He conducted numerous experiments and investigations into hauntings, seances, and psychic mediums, earning him a reputation as one of the leading experts in the field. One of Price's most famous cases was his investigation of a purportedly haunted house in Essex, England. Price spent years studying Bodleian Rectory and claimed to have encountered various ghostly phenomena during his visits, including mysterious footsteps and unexplained sounds. Price's work helped popularize the study of paranormal activity and influence subsequent generations of ghost hunters and researchers. Despite skepticism from his quarters, his investigations continue to be cited as important contributions to the field of physical research. These individuals' encounters with ghosts have captivated the public imagination and contributed to the enduring fascination with the supernatural and the unknown. Whether through personal experiences, historical accounts, or scientific investigations, their stories offer tantalizing glimpses into the mysteries of the spirit world.